Hello and welcome to the Parenting Tools podcast.
Beep, 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 beep.
Was I supposed to say something else there?
I don't know. Interrupted you with my horn. This is the podcast where a couple of saps talk about what it's like being dads and parents and all the stuff that goes on with our kiddos.
I'm supposed to say my name. I'm Jason.
Oh yeah, you're Jason.
It's my water.
And I'm Jordan, that is your water. And what's been going on?
Last week, I drove over 24 hours.
For what?
Apparently a holiday.
Apparently.
Sweet, I'm so tired of you. Sweet, I'm so tired of you treating me this way. I'm sick and then I'm...
Was it not?
24 hours of driving.
Continuously? Or in the week?
No, this just throughout the week.
Yeah.
It was not a travelling holiday. So the holiday was in the south west of Wales.
Never eat, really. Yep.
Pembrokeshire.
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely. 5 hours away from where I live. But you're right, that doesn't make 2 journeys, that doesn't make 24 hours.
Doesn't. Makes 10.
So we booked the holiday a while back. We knew it was going to be a long drive. What we didn't account for is that on the day of travel, that my wife would need to go to a rehearsal in Northampton, but it was also my niece's first birthday in Bewdley, Worcestershire.
Gosh.
So on a Saturday, I drove to Nottingham, dropped Emily off, drove to Bewdley with Noah, which was 2 hours, drove to Northampton, which was another 2 hours, and then from Northampton we drove to just outside Cardiff and stayed the night, and that was 7.5 hours on the first day.
My word.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think I bossed it with a 3-year-old in the car.
Yeah?
Yeah, like planned it out perfectly. Thank you, iPad.
Did you use the little AirPod?
I
hack?
did, yeah. I
Yeah.
had little AirPods in so I could listen to stuff. She wasn't feeling well, and so she slept for a full 2-hour journey. That was perfect.
Perfect
I'll
timing.
take the credit.
Yeah. What did you do? Sneeze on her?
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I feel a little bit Barry White-esque.
Yeah. I like it.
Not as him, I just feel ill.
Just feel like a singer.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you're going for a bit of Cockney rhyming slang there. You feel a bit Barry White.
So anyway, then from Cardiff down to Pembrokeshire was another 2 hours or whatever it was. But unfortunately, my grandmother died the week before we were due to go on holiday. And as soon as it happened, we were like, the funeral's going to be when we're in like Wales. And it was. But the funeral was in Blackpool, which was again another 5.5 hours from Pembrokeshire.
Wow. So did you do that during the holiday?
Yeah. So we stayed at a little holiday destination.
Yep.
And thankfully with my in-laws, they looked after Noah while the night before me and Em drove up to Blackpool. But we stopped halfway in Wrexham just because of the documentary. Drove past the stadium because it was raining. We were planning to visit, but no. And yeah, 5.5 hours to Blackpool. Went to the funeral. Drove 5.5 hours back. And then another 6 hours back from Wales on the final day.
A lot of driving.
Yeah. You know when people say, like, they come back from holiday, oh, I need another holiday now?
Yeah.
When they've just been sat, like, on the beach all week.
You could genuinely do
I
with.
genuinely could do with a little holiday now.
Go back to work for a break.
Yeah.
The classic.
I might, I know this ruins the point because my wife listens to the podcast. I might book a few days off and just do nothing.
Why not?
Just pretend to go to work and just sit in a room.
I did that on Friday. Had the day off. Changed my guitar strings, which has been in much need. Went to the driving range. Listened to a podcast. I had a great time.
Nice.
I had a lovely,
Just a day of relaxation.
lovely day. Yeah. Well, my condolences. First and foremost.
Thank you very much.
Funeral-
It was genuinely a nice funeral.
And you didn't take Noah to the funeral?
No.
No.
It was a very small funeral. We knew it was going to be very close family only. I didn't fancy taking my 3-year-old, mainly on the 5.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
but when we did get back, and before, we were trying to explain like what was going on. We didn't really know what to do. Like, how do you explain death to a child? And that's quite a big topic. And
It is, yeah.
Like I was just going for. I was like, we'll wing it. Em would like, no, we'll need to research this. And the research was like, you just tell him.
Tell him.
Just tell him. And she was like, oh, the way that we'd explained it was, my granny had died, and then she was like, but is my granny okay? And we're like, oh, your granny's fine. she's fine.
Just concerned about myself.
But Daddy's granny is no longer here. And she was like, oh, okay. And I think she kind of got it 'cause she was a little bit worried about her own grandparents.
Well, yeah, at least it's
But it's
resonated.
Yeah, it's a big concept. But I think because it is like littered throughout loads of like stories and kids' books, like death in general.
Yeah.
I think they kind of understand the concept, and she didn't ever meet her, so like there was no attachment there. But yeah, it was very odd.
Yeah.
But it was all right.
Yeah. Somber,
and
but
then
hopeful.
And to be honest, 10 hours in a car with my wife was actually quite pleasant.
Really? That's good.
Yeah.
It's good to know. Considering you've got life to look forward to together.
Usually I hate driving. Like, hate driving long distances anyway. It's just boring. But this was a nice little break.
I bet.
It was lovely. And then on the way back, we stopped at a random little place to use the toilet. Turned out we'd stopped in like the car park of some castle ruins.
Really?
In the middle of Wales.
There you go.
Loved it.
Yeah,
and then like, you know in castles they have like little plaques and stuff. It's like 10 to midnight and it feels really dodgy, and I'm just sat like reading this plaque, and Emma's like, can we go please, because I'm actually scared.
This is shifty.
Because in the toilets there was a disposable syringe.
Oh my word, yeah.
Just like, we need to
Get in the cart.
That leads me to a question. I don't
Go
know
on.
if you've seen this kind of making the rounds.
Season 2 of Welcome to Wrexham.
Oh, I mean that as well.
Yep.
Or already there.
Yeah,
Have you seen it?
I'm up to speed.
How emotional is it?
Mate.
No spoilers, but episode 2 was very emotional, I thought.
Is that the one with the autistic
Yeah.
children? Yeah.
I thought that was very, very nice. Very well done.
Yeah, really nice. Lovely.
But the question is, how often do you think about...
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yeah, ancient Rome. Or
Yeah,
the
the Roman
Romans.
Empire.
The Roman Empire. How do you think
Never.
about it ever?
Somebody brought this up in the office the other day, and 2 of the blokes were like, yeah, fairly regular. So if you've not seen this, there's a trend going around where women are asking their partners, their male partners, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And more often than not, they're like, yeah, quite loads, yeah, loads. And like...
I saw one, it was like, couple times a week? Yeah. How do you know?
Yeah. So one bloke in the office went, I think about roads, straight roads. And there was another guy on the other side of the room with his earphones in. So they said, oh, what do you think? And he took his earphones out. They said, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And he went, I think about roads quite a bit. And I was just like, am I the only bloke? And apparently the female equivalent is the Titanic.
Really?
I think about the Titanic more than... So that tells you. But yeah, I think because the Titanic's an annual event, you hear about it on the news. It's the whatever year since Titanic sank.
Do you really?
And then we had all this stuff on the news recently about the submarine.
True. Yeah,
so,
true.
like, it comes up more in references, media references. I think that's why it's more prominent.
See, I saw the case for the Roman Empire because it's had an impact on so much. Like a lot of just like roads. So much stuff has its roots in like the Roman Empire. Like, I was chatting to Em about this because for my job, I read the Bible quite a lot, and that's the New Testament is set in the place when the Roman Empire were ruling. So I was like, yeah, like
did quite a lot.
I was like a few times a week. Yeah, I do think about the Roman Empire. But it's for generic.
Give unto Caesar.
Exactly. There we go. But I love history anyway. Like, I've recently discovered that I love history, so I wouldn't say I think about Rome more than often, but I will go down rabbit holes quite a lot. So the rabbit hole I'm currently in, because of Wales, is the Welsh-English divide. It goes back thousands of years.
It's one I feel like I could help bridge. Ambassador for Anglo-Welsh relations.
I think that's what Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds are trying to do, aren't they?
I don't know.
Putting Wrexham on the map.
Well,
Restore the Welsh.
yeah. Well, Wrexham very specifically, but no, it's very good, mate. We need to go. We need to get tickets.
I would like. I thought it meant we've got a meeting. I was like, oh, we gotta go.
We've got to go in Rome. We've got a meeting in Rome. If you listened to our episode 2 weeks ago, we had Andy on the pod, Andy Southey, who was running the Nottingham Half Marathon to raise money for Headway following his concussion. Andy ran the race yesterday and he completed it. You'll be pleased to know.
He did not pass out.
Didn't pass out. Finished it. Didn't black
Well
out.
done. Fair play.
Yeah, so shout out to Andy. If you sponsored Andy, thank you to you guys. But yeah, just a massive shout out to Andy for getting it done.
Yeah, well done. That's a big one.
Yeah, good on him. But we had a message from Georgie on Instagram on the back of this. It says, "Dear agony aunts, agony uncles, agony tools."
I'd quite happily be an agony aunt.
Well, I'd rather be an agony uncle, I think. I don't know. But it says this on the back of Andy's episode. "Your most recent episode really struck a chord with me. It was so refreshing to hear someone speak openly about having a trauma experience while still dealing with it. It's so often the case that people don't speak about needing or getting help, and the constant you survived, moved on, or that was ages ago, haven't you forgot about it by now mentality. It's too often that's the response. As always, loving the podcast. Keep up the good work. All the best."
Very good.
I mean, I butchered the reading of it, but you get the sentiment. So there's
It's a lovely
George.
message.
Yeah, lovely message. There's Georgie saying it was nice to hear someone who is actually going through it rather than someone that's got it dealt with, talking about it retrospectively, and then people going, just move on. But yeah, shout out to Andy for that. When I listened back to that episode, it was really nice to hear Andy go, "I'm getting therapy. I'm talking through these things." Yeah, I think it was really good to get that out there.
Yeah, it's huge. And I think, so me and Emily went through like a few sessions of couples therapy. And like there was like a really big...
Was that after the 5.5 hour drive?
Yeah, yeah. There was like a really like big mental barrier for me in terms of like, I don't know if it was pride or, I don't know what it was. It was like, oh, I don't need therapy or that sort of stuff. But and all it did was it just helped us frame conversations outside of the therapy sessions? Is that what they're called?
Yeah. Wow.
It's like they would literally just pose us questions, and then the week after we'd have really helpful discussions around it, and it was like, oh, okay, that actually works. So
Yeah.
no, it's huge.
Yeah, good. So yeah, thank you once again to Andy. Thank you once again to Georgie.
Excuse my cough. And I need to say this as well because I forgot to mention that on the way back from Wales,
You got a cough.
I was getting ill on the last day, on the Friday. I had like 7 nosebleeds.
You text me about this.
Yeah, I think I texted you when I was at 4.
Okay.
And I
You
don't
were
know
like
whether it was
midway point.
I don't know if it was the same nosebleed just kept erupting, but like I'd sneeze and it would just like go again. Or we were in a little gift shop on the way out somewhere, and it just started running, and I caught a drop of blood mid-air.
Really?
Like, oh, gotta go. Anyway, I was getting ill, and so we were going home that day. Like we've got a long drive home. The plan, obviously, what do you do when you're like that? Bearing in mind I had work on the Sunday, where my job is to speak for half an hour. So what would you do on a Saturday? You'd go home, you'd sleep, you'd rest.
Recover.
What did we do?
Not recover.
No.
What did you do?
We halfway in the journey, we were like, I can't drive anymore. We're both shattered. So we booked the cheap travel lodge.
Really?
Yeah.
Little stop off.
And then the next day, we were like, oh, we're next to the safari park. Let's just go to the safari park.
Oh,
And in my head, I thought, oh, we'll do a little whiz round and we'll leave by like early afternoon. No. It was a full day.
a full day of safari.
That's what you do after a week of refreshing work.
Yeah. I love the safari
When you've
park,
got energy for your kids, that's when you go to safari park. Not when you're like a zombie, just like going,
Yeah. I opened the windows in the line enclosure once.
Oh.
I didn't realise we were there. And there was 5 lads in a car. No aircon. Hot day. I thought this window needs to come down. Next thing you hear, can the silver
No.
Vauxhall Astra put the windows up, please, as you are entering the lion enclosure. I've never wheeled a window up so quickly in my life.
So if you're not aware of what the safari park is, I'm not sure if they're...
I think they're pretty international, aren't they?
Are they?
They're basically a drive-through zoo.
Yeah, that's there you go. You summarised it better than I would have
But
got to say.
with jungle animals.
But in the lion enclosure, we were in a standstill queue for an hour because somebody ignored all of the signs where it says you can't drive a soft top car.
Oh, chav.
And like they missed all the exits and literally was an hour of them trying to turn around doing a 20-point manoeuvre and then slowly making their way through the traffic. on the way
Shameful.
back.
Drive of shame.
Anyway, all of that to say, when you're ill, you make stupid decisions. I thought I'd be fine.
Person
I
in the
was
soft
not.
top was obviously ill.
Yeah, they must have had the cold. They must have had 8 nosebleeds.
I've never had a nosebleed.
Have you not?
No. I've blown my nose and it been a bit blood
a little
on
bit
there.
of blood, but not
Yeah,
like.
but never like pouring out.
I laughed because when I joined a new school in year 7, and someone told me this story that there was this, I can't say his name, but there was this kid who someone had said I'd never had a nosebleed before, and he punched him in the nose and said, "Now you have."
No way. Savage. Why? It's horrible, but hilarious.
And that story came from when they were in like year 3.
Now you have. And had it? Did it work?
Apparently, that was the story.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I faked a nosebleed once.
How'd you do that?
I really... So we were having play rehearsals at school. I was in primary school. I think it was year 4 or 5. And I needed the toilet. I said, "Miss, I needed the toilet." And being a bit of a cheeky, naughty lad, they just thought I was getting out of it. So they said, "No, you don't. Like, you're okay." I was like, "No, I need the toilet." She's like, "Jordan, you're not going to the toilet. You should have gone at lunch." Someone has a nosebleed. And they're there with their hand over their nose and their mouth. Goes, "Miss, Abby's got a nosebleed." Oh, right. Go on you go. Abby goes to the toilet with a nosebleed. Next thing, Kiefer, shout out Kiefer, puts his hand up, got a nosebleed.
No.
Right. On you go, Kiefer. I am bursting. So I just think, hang on a second. This could work. So I put my hand over my nose. Miss, I've got a nosebleed. She goes, "Oh, what's this with everyone nosebleeds today? Go on then, Jordan, off you go." They both came back with blood on their face, though. So I went to the toilet and just scratched my face. I was just scratching around my nose to make it red.
No.
But I got my wee out, so there we go. We've had a message. Well, we've had lots of comments, actually, on TikTok. So you said,
What did I say?
"I don't want a second child." Caveat, I do.
There's a predominant caveat.
Yeah, and we've had some comments. So the first one comes from Jodie, who said, "I waited until my daughter was 6 until trying for another. She turned 7 before the second one arrived. Perfect gap."
See, I'm not sure. There's an emoji after that, and I don't know if that insinuates sarcasm.
Little sweaty face emoji.
Yeah.
Like a nervous.
Is that perfect gap? Jokes? Or is that perfect gap, but I'm sweaty?
Well, she said she's a little helper and entertains herself for the most part.
That just makes me confused about that emoji.
Yeah. Please clarify, Jodie. No, it sounds like, though, she's chuffed with her 7-year age gap.
I just thought of a really funny comment that I saw on the TikTok. I don't know if it's on the notes, but I think it was one of our TikToks where we're talking about like reading.
Were we?
So they were talking about my daughter like learning to read, and it was like,
Take your word for it.
turns out that they can't. Like she can do certain letters, but it's like, what's that? It's towel, something like that. And the comment was like, after watching this this video, like realizing my 5-year-old still can't read, and you were like, after watching our video, I don't think our kids can either. I just thought it was really funny. I laughed at it for like 10 minutes.
Really?
Just your comment,
Oh, that's nice.
not our video, not the content.
Just my reply.
Just your reply.
Well, that's one. My confidence is now soaring. Thank you so much. But another comment you want to read this one from Samantha?
Yeah. 'Cause I don't want to have to pay thousands of dollars just to have a second child. And you've put, is this medical fees or are you... You wrote, is this medical fees or are you buying babies?
You needed to clarify. I needed that clarity.
She put medical fees between health insurance, lack of maternity leave pay. 6 weeks is criminal. Time off work before and after, etc. And you put 6 weeks. That is criminal. I'm assuming they're from America.
I'm assuming this is America because it's dollars. But 6 weeks maternity leave pay. That's insane. So it's back.
And is that full pay as well?
I don't know. Let us know, Americans. What is it? Is it full pay for 6 weeks? But then it's back to work after 6 weeks.
Because I still think our pay is better, but it's still not great.
No, it's not great. It's not great. How did your wife's maternity leave work?
I don't know. Just the
Strategic.
whatever that word is. The
Statu-
government basic.
Statutory.
Yeah.
I had to really think hard to get that out. I think Leanne's was full pay for a little bit, and then it went to 80%, then it went to 60%, and then before you know it, like you're paying them money basically the last month.
So I think with M's, it's like 6 weeks at like 90% or something, and then it drops right down to like government basic.
Yep.
I think that's what it was, which is like, again, that's a consideration when going for a second child. Like, that's quite a lot to budget for and plan for. But 6 weeks and then nothing, and then having to pay health insurance as well. Mad. I don't know how you...
And probably childcare.
I don't know how you Americans do it.
How do Americans do it? Let us know.
They must earn loads of money.
Yeah, but then they pay out a lot as well. Yeah, let us know. Please do let us know at Parenting Tools Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Americans, how's it?
Oh, we've got another
How does it go
comment
down? Go on.
from the OGG.
OGG.
It says, my husband and I have agreed at least 5 years between kids. Just the birth trauma alone was nearly enough to put me off for good after our first. When I was originally reading that, I know I struggled. I thought she meant me and my husband agreed to have 5 kids.
Yeah,
That's what I thought it was
this
going.
is great.
And then, whoop, different direction.
4 more.
5 years between. How many kids are they going for? That's what I want to know. Are they even 5 kids 5 years apart? Is that even possible?
4 kids, 5 years apart. We're doing this over a 20-year span. We've got a 20-year plan. Most people do have their 5-year plan, don't they? But the OGG is going for a 20-year plan. She might not be. Might be 25. And the last one comes from Megs. She's put 2 under 5. I'm about to have 2 under 1.
Good luck.
All the best. I replied to this one saying, please keep us posted with the hilarious stuff that is coming your way. But yeah, 2 under 1.
That's mad.
That is mad. You're still in the newborn phase.
I would like to know if that's like how close they are.
How do you mean?
As in, how close to 2 under 1 are they? Is it like 10 months and a newborn?
Oh, let's have a
Or
look.
is it like 11 months and 28 days?
I think she might have clarified.
Oh.
Just found out I'm having a little boy and already have a little girl who's currently 6.5 months.
That math doesn't work out, does it?
So if she's found out that it's having a boy, she'll be 20 weeks in at least.
Oh, that's a good point. There we go. Detective.
I don't know what that is in months.
Divided by 4 and a bit.
Well, that's the OGG.
Depends if it's like the long months.
As opposed to these February.
The repeated Februaries.
So yeah, there we go. Last comment comes from Craig, who said, I promise you make the most of it. They grow so quick, spend loads of time with them. Z.
That's so true, though.
Don't know what the Z's for, but... So yeah. And speaking of having loads of kids over a 20-year span, listen to this. So a few weeks ago, we put out the question saying, who of our listeners has the most kids? Let us know. Mm-hmm. And Tiz Avery's been back on, who recently had their first child from Missouri. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He's put, hey, so I was listening to the episode where you asked which listener has the most kids? It's not me, but my mother and father just had their 15th baby in May. 15th.
So he's having a child.
He's just had his first.
He's just had his first, and his parents are still going.
Still going.
Wow.
He's put, I'm the oldest, and none of them are adopted. I just thought you guys would find that interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
15 kids.
They always say, if you're wondering why so many kids, they always say they leave it in God's hands to how many children they'll have. I'd be taking matters into my own hands. As you know, I'm a Christian. I would be taking matters into my own hands after about 7, I think.
After 7?
I think, do you know what?
That sounds like they're not even taking precautions.
15 children.
That is a belief system. That some people do have that set of beliefs, though, don't they? Against any sort of...
Yeah, Catholics are all against the...
Are they really? Is
Yeah.
that just a general... Oh, really?
I mean-
Any birth control?
I mean it.
I didn't know that.
I could be spouting.
I know that is some portion of some kind of
Yeah.
religion, or I don't want to say sect, but I did believe that kind of anti-birth control at all. But that for me is madness.
I mean,
15 children.
good on them. They must be some age.
Again, they got to be earning some money. I think we moan about the cars we have to drive. They have to get a bus.
That's true.
Like, no, an actual legit
15-seater.
a legit bus. Mini buses stop at like 16 seaters, don't they?
Yeah.
17 seater with 2 in the driver's seat.
If Samantha's paying thousands per child, but they might be selling them. I've got a daddy issue. So if you're a new listener to the pod, you'll know. Well, you won't know if you're new. We like to talk about our daddy issues, which are the issues that we are facing as dads. Now, when we spoke to Mark Ritchie, I mentioned that I had a pond.
You had a pond.
Had a pond.
Ooh.
So, unfortunately,
Yes.
the pond pump stopped working. And we had a few days of really hot weather. And some fish perished. And it wasn't... if you are part of the PETA, PETA, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't until...
Boiled tuna?
It wasn't until we fished them out that I realised how many were in there.
Oh, really?
We had about 15 dead fish in the duration of a day. We gave away 6 or 7 to a local farmer that wanted some fish for his pond. And then we kept another 5, which are now in Luca's room.
Just on display?
Yeah.
On a tank?
Taxidermy to goldfish.
I thought you just put them on a shelf.
Do you remember that singing fish that people used to have on a little plaque? Just a gold.
You just super glued them to a bit of wood.
Super glued it. You press the button, but nothing happens. That's a real fish, mate. So no, there are 5 living fish in a tank in Luca's bedroom.
Thanks for the clarification.
But now it means I have to look after them in the house. But something is I've noticed.
How much maintenance do fish need? You can't take them for a walk.
Not so much now. And he's named them T-Rex, Velociraptor, and he knows which ones are which.
Amazing.
He overfed them one day. He poured... I just looked, I was thinking, what is that in the tank? He poured all the flakes in. I was like, mate, they're going to die. So he was like, but I don't want them to die. I said, that's what happens if you feed them loads. They'll just eat it. And anyway, so I fished. Well, I didn't fish it, but I filtered all the water out, got all the food out, put them back in. And at bedtime, I could hear him saying, please don't die.
Oh, no.
I didn't mean to feed you loads. Bless him, talking to his fish. Anyway, in the morning he came in, he was like, there's still 5 of them, so they're all good.
Amazing.
But my issue is, now I'm feeding the fish every morning, they go mental when I walk in the room.
They recognise you.
And you'll be thinking, no. I said to my wife this morning, I said, Lee, watch the fish when I walk in. They swim to the side that I'm standing.
No way.
And they go to the top and they just go mental with their mouths. And it's just a little bit weird that these fish do that. And I know they're not the cleverest of animals, but I think that seems like they know that I feed them.
That's brilliant. It's pretty clever.
Yeah.
That's madness.
It just goes a little bit. They just go a bit mad. So I always feel a bit like I'm being watched now in my own house.
The fish have got spies.
Maybe they're coming for me. Maybe that's what it is. Like he's the guy that killed the rest of them, and they're trying to get at me. Yeah, but we've got this little fish set up. He loves it, but mate, it's just they go mental whenever I walk in the room.
See, this is one of the things. Like, so Noah's been talking about getting a rabbit for like the past few weeks, and like she's serious about it. She's like, I'll look after it. I'll feed it. I'll clean out the hutch. I know I'm going to end up doing all of that if we get a rabbit. Like, fish seems to be like a manageable burden. A little bit of fish food. Is it a lot of work? Do you have to clean it out?
You have to clean the filter out, which is just clogged up with fish poo.
How often?
You should do it every week. We have not done it every week. We've done it till it's blocked up, that it stops working. But we've avoided pets so far.
Yeah.
We've not done any pets, and we've got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old.
See, I think we would have had a cat a long time ago if Em wasn't definitely allergic. She loves cats.
It's a good reason to not have one.
But she wants one. Like, and to this point, the point of, I remember once getting a phone call because she went for a walk at lunchtime at work, stroked a cat, ended up looking like Rocky Balboa.
Really?
She went into a pharmacy to get some antihistamines. They were like, you cannot leave.
I've never had a nosebleed before.
They were like, call the ambulance.
You have now?
Because her face had literally like ballooned.
That happens to me. I'm allergic to cats.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah, and I never realised. So my sister got a cat when she was 20 and she got married and moved out. She called it Princess Jasmine. And me and Princess Jasmine had a pretty good relationship. And one day, went for a film. We were watching Narnia 2. Is it the Prince of...
No idea. Azkaban?
I wanted to say Prince of Azkaban, but it's not Azkaban, is it? The Prince of Persia. I don't know. What's he called?
How many more films can we put, Jen?
Yeah, the Prince and the Pauper. I don't know. It's the second Narnia. And so I'm sat there with this cat on my chest, just stroking it. And I'm thinking, I'm getting
At
ill.
the cinema?
No, at my sister's house.
I'm about to say.
And I'm getting... You can't take your own popcorn, but you can take your own cat.
I was also thinking, how old are you seeing the second Narnia in the cinema?
Yeah, no. It was at her house.
Yeah.
I'm about 16, 17 at this time. And we just never had a cat, never had friends with cats. Turned the light on at the end of the film. My eyes are just swollen. She's like, I think you're allergic to cats. So yeah, we've never done pets. Considered the dog. Not anymore.
No.
I've gone off that idea.
Just the maintenance.
Just a bit. It's just like having another child, isn't it?
It is. There's so much to do.
And you can't put a nappy on them.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
they love routine, don't they, dogs? They've got to go for a walk all the time.
Can't just sit them in front of the TV with a pack of Wotsits to solve your problems.
So true.
Did that the other day. So I've had to, I suppose this is a bit of a more realistic daddy issue. So I pick up our son on a Thursday. School day finishes at 3:30.
Yeah.
My work day finishes at 5:30.
How does that work?
So that was it. I took him home and said, look, I've got a few meetings now on the Teams, and just sat him in front of the TV. I said, what do you want to watch? Put PJ Masks on.
Nice.
If you're Disney Plus, check out PJ Masks. And gave him some snacks. And this was a really important client meeting. Really big project, really important. I was like, do not come and get me. I said, you have to just stay in here, okay? I will come and get you when I'm finished. About 5 minutes, 10 minutes in, I just heard him peering around the corner. He went, Daddy, I want a biscuit. So I had to turn my mic off, turn my camera off because he appeared then in. So I just said, I know you want a biscuit. Give me 5 minutes. When I've finished this, I'll get one. So he goes back out. He closes the door. He comes back in again. Daddy, I want a biscuit. I said, mate, I'll get you a biscuit once I'm finished with this. Okay. He went, okay. So he comes back in again. And I got ahead of the curve this time. I went, I'll get you a biscuit in a minute. And he went, I've already got one. He climbed onto the kitchen worktop, got himself a biscuit and got down. And now he's showing me how he does it. It's quite impressive.
Nice.
Bit dangerous, but impressive. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just tricky.
I generally don't understand what people do, especially if both people work full-time jobs. Like, surely there's not enough like wraparound care that exists, or is that a thing? Does
Wraparound care exists?
Does it go every day till like 5:30?
But I think it's pricey.
And again, that's another thing. Like, it's not free, is it?
No. But no, and it's one of those you think, well, pick him up at 3:30, start work a bit earlier, start at 8, 7:30.
Yeah.
Still got to leave at 9 to take him.
Yeah. And
So
it's
just
not like
tricky.
they're older that they can walk back home and look after themselves.
No. And we don't, as I've mentioned, we didn't send him to the school at the bottom of our street.
True, you didn't.
He can't walk home. Take him hours.
You're not going to walk home, is it? You find your way back, won't you?
The good thing about if we had sent him to the school at the end of the street, I could have bought a drone and just seen him.
No way. Would you let him walk home?
No, not at 4 years old. No. I
Not
wouldn't.
even on a drone. What are you going to do if he like gets into a precarious situation?
Get one of those drones with lasers.
And arms.
Get a laser drone. Pew pew.
I mean, like if he got stuck somewhere.
Or like put a baby monitor on, talk back. Move away. But no, it's so I've only done that twice, and I just feel a bit bad being like, sit in front of the TV. Here's some crisps.
Something's
Don't
got to
move.
be done, isn't it? Sometimes.
It's necessary. The first day I tried with toys. Didn't want to use the TV, but that didn't last as long, so I went for the TV.
It's got to be. I tried my hardest and I succeeded at suppressing a Jordan Peterson impression of saying necessary. He says it all the time. I just thought it was.
He loves it.
Yeah, I just need the points for that.
But no, let us know if you are balancing school and work hours. Let us know how you're
Legit,
doing.
like, need some tips.
Yeah. I mean, I'm farming for tools. I need some tips.
I would like to know that too.
Yeah. Oh, well, this has been fun to get back into it. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, it has been.
It has been a few weeks because you were away.
I do feel like I've come back from like summer holidays because I have.
It's
Even
suddenly
though it's delayed.
autumn as well.
It's suddenly October soon, isn't it?
But it's one of those, we're approaching that season where people go, I leave for work and it's dark. Come
That's
home
true.
and it's dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to play football a few weeks ago and it was light. The next week I got there and it was dark. It's just suddenly gone full autumn.
I do like autumn and winter. It's cozy.
I like bonfire night.
I was thinking about that. That's one I don't like.
Really? Why
I've
not?
secretly never enjoyed bonfire night.
Too social.
Social, and also I can watch it from home. I can see the fireworks.
Once you've seen one firework, you've seen them all.
Exactly. I don't need to go to a crowd of people, look at fireworks, and go home.
Even now, though, as someone of 32 years old, lighting a firework
I like lighting them.
still excites
and
me.
blowing them up.
It
I like
excites
that
me
bit.
and petrifies me also.
I don't like going to. Well, I don't know. I don't like going to a fireworks show. It just sits in the category of everything else. Still going out.
They're busy with kids. They are busy and they're dark.
Yeah.
It's a losing
Toffee apples though,
risk.
I can get on board with.
Toffee apples. I mean, it just feels really unnecessary.
Scarves, just in general. I like a scarf.
Do you... Things you like about autumn. Scarves. I do like a blanket.
Blanket or a weighted blanket. Oh, I'm going to treat myself this year.
I cracked the dressing gown out this week.
Really?
Yeah, I spent a lot of Saturday in my dressing gown.
Oh, I need to invest in a dressing gown.
We made some homemade soup.
In a soup maker or like...
Just a blender.
Same thing.
What's the difference?
I think a soup maker heats it up as well.
Oh, does it?
So it's like a blender, but it's metal.
So it's...
And it heats it up as it blends.
Yeah, no, that's
It's a good
sounds
investment.
Nice. Yeah,
I might crack it out actually.
Sounds
Sure.
good. If you're a soup maker manufacturer and you want to sponsor this podcast, you can write to us. hello@parentingtools.co.uk, or if you just want to send us a message, You can also get us at Parenting Tools Pod on the socials.
And don't forget, as we always say recently, we are doing a live show at IKEA.
Pew, pew, pew.
It's going to be fun. You can sign up for free. It's a free event if you live near to Nottingham on the 10th of November. Find the information on the website.
And we'll see you next week.
Sweet, I'm so tired of you. Sweet, I'm so tired.